El mariachi me llena de emociones.
Mariachi music today enjoys tremendous popularity worldwide. It has evolved from its indigenous roots to an artistic expression of beauty and elegance. Mariachi director for El Sol de Mexico, Jose Hernandez, explains the many styles in this art form.
When mariachi music, there's many styles of singing. There's different approaches that you need to have for those different styles. Like for the bolero, it's very romantic, very soft. A lot of times you don't really think of technique. You really go by your emotions, with your heart.
No pretendo ser tu dueño, no soy nada, ya no tengo vanidad. De mi vida doy lo bueno, soy tan pobre que otra cosa puedo dar. Pasarán más de 1000 años, muchos más. Yo no sé si tenga amor la eternidad, pero allá tal como aquí.
In the ranchera, it's the same sort of attitude. You according to the lyric, is how it comes out in your voice. Sometimes when you're in the beginning stages, I guess, of singing, and you don't have a lot of experience singing or a lot of technique, you really hurt your voice a lot.
Se perdía en un abismo profundo y negro como mi suerte. Quise hallar el olvido al estilo Jalisco, pero aquellos mariachis y aquel tequila me hicieron llorar.
The Huapango style of singing, there's a lot of falsete, what we call falsetto, I guess they say it in English, and it creates a certain flip, a certain trigger that happens in your vocal cords, I guess. And the man that made it very popular was Miguel Aceves Mejia. He was the man when it came to falsete, singing huapangos.
Del pastor
There's sones from Las Huastecas that has a lot of the flip, a lot of falsete. Sones Huastecos, sones Michoacanos. They create a lot of that movement in your vocal cords. So it's very difficult music to sing. Another type of style is el son jalisciense. And el son jalisciense is even more aggressive, but it doesn't really have any falsete.
Pero no les digas cuando así me dijiste a mí, por eso vivo penando. Cuando me traes a mi negra que la quiero ver aquí con su rebozo de seda que le traje de Tepic. Cuando me traes a mi negra que la quiero ver aquí con su rebozo de seda que le traje de Tepic.
In 1981, the debate about the origin of the word mariachi was laid to rest when a letter written in 1852 by Father Cozumel Santa Anna was discovered and published in Mexico City and Los Angeles.
To think that mariachi comes from the French language, taken into consideration that there was a French invasion in Mexico in the 1860s, mean to deny Mexicans and Mexico, a country with 30 centuries of splendor, the possibility of being the creator of its own forms of folklore. Mariachi, by the way, is a word of the language of the Coca Indians, who live in the region comprising the 3 Mexican states of Nayarit, Colima, and Jalisco. Anybody with scientific rigor could travel to that region of Mexico and verify it by themselves. Mariachi in the Coca language means a small wooden stage where dancers and musicians perform.
In the United States, there is an increasing number of mariachi students coming together to learn, compete, and perform this art form. In order for these students to prepare for the future, they need to know about the great vocalists of the past.
One of the best known and respected singers have been, for instance, Lucha Reyes. Lucha Reyes was a girl, a lady, who actually, gave so much strength to her interpretations that she became, in a way, the role model for other girls who have also sang mariachi music. Certainly, of course, Jorge Negrete, Pedro Infante, Miguel Aceves Mejia in the 50s and the 60s. Among the ladies, basically, still the queen of Mexican ranchero and mariachi music singer is Lola Beltrán. Singers like Jorge Negrete, by the way, who studied opera, had such an operatic voice and such a great tenor voice that he had really to have a really strong voice so as to let the audience listen to his voice, although the trumpets and the violins and whatever from the mariachi group were playing.
Voice scientists or voice teachers, everyone agrees that the visualization of the vocal folds helps students understand their vocal instrument.
They have very little perception or even idea of how the vocal apparatus works. And I can see why. Because really, it's the only instrument where you can't see it. It's inside your body.
Dr. Wilbur J. Gould, world-famous otolaryngologist, was considered a pioneer in the study of the human voice. He treated statesmen, Broadway singers, opera singers, and rock and roll idols. The Gould Research Center sets high standards in the study of the human voice. Education is the key to those standards.
What we're going to do is to demonstrate the visualization of the vocal folds, which are done by use of a rigid fiber scope that you see. And this is a light-carrying instrument that will then be passed into the mouth. In order to see if there is a nodule, a polyp, an infection, or something that would be a hemorrhage, you have to get a good visualization.
The Gould Research Center at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts is the only voice laboratory in the world that is attached to a performing arts organization. It is dedicated to the care and the research of the voice. Scientist Ronald Scherer notes that mariachi vocalists, just as opera, jazz, or country western vocalists, embrace the beautiful falsetto style of singing.
In mariachi styles of singing, there are frequent uses of register shifts. These shifts are between the chest or modal register of the lower sung notes to the falsetto register of the higher notes. The primary way to change from the chest to the falsetto register is by lengthening the vocal folds. The vocal folds are located right behind your Adam's apple or thyroid notch. That's located right here in this model, and you can see that the Adam's apple is part of the hard cartilage and bone structure of the larynx. There are two vocal folds, one on the right and one on the left inside the larynx. This is the one on the left in this model. It runs from the front to the back and is about 9 millimeters in the adult female and about 16 millimeters in the adult male. There's a muscle in front here that contracts to lengthen the vocal folds. This can easily be shown by viewing the larynx with a fiber optic scope. Here you can see that the vocal folds are longer in falsetto than in the chest register. The vocal folds are seen in cross-section in this figure. In the chest register, the vocal folds are thicker and have a little more bulged appearance than in the falsetto, where they're thinner because they've been stretched. In the chest register, the vocal folds move with greater amplitude than in the falsetto, because in falsetto, only the edges move, creating a thinner sound at those higher pitches. And this is not harmful if the right technique is used.
The team of scientists, otolaryngologists, and voice pathologists play a very important role in the life of a singer.
I had to go to a voice doctor. He said, well, your problem is that you don't know how to sing. I would have a lot of phlegm in the morning. There was always a persistent cough for the last 6 years. And these last 6 years is when I started singing more. And I never thought that it was because of the singing. I thought that I had an allergy or something. I went to an allergy doctor and he didn't find nothing wrong.
The chief problem with phlegm is that it causes people to clear their throats in an effort to get rid of it. And that too has the effect of a cough in terms of banging the vocal cords together. There are other problems which are somewhat more severe along the same line in terms of developing polyps or nodules on the vocal cords.
It gives me more power. I mean, I've been building up the right muscles to sing, and it's given me more power to sing, especially sones, rancheras. I could belt them out a lot easier.
Yo tenía mi cascabel en una cinta morada, en una cinta morada. Yo tenía mi cascabel. Yo tenía mi cascabel en una cinta morada, en una cinta morada. Yo tenía mi cascabel. Y como era de oro,
The voice is a body system. Whatever impacts on the body impacts on the voice. Getting the right diet, getting enough rest, getting enough sleep, warming up, eating the right foods, all of those things that help the body work well, help the voice. I would say to the female mariachi vocalists that they are facing the same thing that women in any field are facing when they haven't been there before, that they're not sure of the voice quality that they want to go for. What I heard was that they were perhaps trying too much to sound like the men voices, pushing again from that chest to get that full rich tone instead of allowing it to be the beautiful female voice that they are potentially capable of.
Proper vocal education is key to young people interested in pursuing musical careers.
Well, my role model would have to be Linda Ronstadt, because that's who I practically learned from was her tapes. So she's my role model.
How did you learn from her tapes?
I learned by I get the words and I just sing over and over until I got the song. Like I'd stay in my room for hours just practicing her songs.
Young, aspiring singer or a seasoned veteran, proper voice care is essential to prolonging the vocal instrument. Research has proven that vocal production is enhanced by relaxation therapy, lowering psychological or emotional stress, drinking plenty of water to prevent dehydration, avoiding alcohol consumption and smoking, and trying to avoid pollutants such as dust, smoke, pollen, and chemicals.
Well, something that I tell them for sure now is to find a vocal teacher, a voice teacher. It's very important, taking care of your voice. All the musicians in Mariachi Sol de Mexico, which is my group, everybody takes voice lessons.
We are very excited about working with the mariachi singers, the young singers particularly, and giving them ways to help protect and develop the voices as the art form continues to develop.
This beautiful folk music remains forever, and that the generations to come will always have the opportunity of knowing what the mariachi singers and the mariachi music was. Soy la voz.